We continue from where we left off. God confronting Cain for cold-bloodedly murdering his brother. There had to be some punishment. So let's read. Let's continue reading Genesis 4:11 to 15. So God continued. And now art thou cursed from the ground, which has opened her mouth to receive your brother's blood from your hand. When you till the ground, it shall not henceforth yield unto thee her strength. A fugitive and a vagabond shall you be on the earth. But Cain said to the Lord, oh, my punishment is greater than I can bear. You know what? My opinion is it served him right? Behold, thou hast driven me out this day from the face of the earth, and from thy face shall I be hid. And I shall be a fugitive and a vagabond in the earth. And it shall come to pass that every one that finds me shall slay me. And the Lord said to him, therefore, whosoever slayeth Cain, vengeance shall be taken on him sevenfold. And the Lord set a mark upon Cain, lest any finding him should kill him. Verse 11 and 12. Let's repeat that. And now you are cursed from the earth, which opened its mouth to receive your brother's blood from your hand. When you till the ground, it shall not again give its strength to you, and you shall be a vagabond and a fugitive in the earth. Here is repeated that the ground was cursed. Many modern versions of the Bible interpret this in verse 11. And they state Cain was cursed more than the ground. But that's simply not the case. Cain was cursed from the ground. No more would he be able to farm. Nothing would ever grow for him until the day he died, and he would be known for his heritage of evil. He'd be a vagabond and a fugitive. Farming was what defined Cain, as he was described in verse 2. Cain was a tiller of the ground. That was his life. And by taking that away from him, God just as much gave him a capital punishment. Cain's boastful pride in the fruits he had been able to grow had been the occasion of his sin. And now he would no longer be able to work the ground which he loved, even for his own food. Folks, you don't fool around with God. This was God's vengeance. And Cain moaned to God that his punishment was greater than he could bear. Could it be by this that Cain acknowledged his sin and guilt to the Lord? Nope. In verse 14, he further tells God he fears for his life. The concern of Cain's was quite realistic. Since Cain could not produce his own food, he would have to be totally at the mercy of others who would naturally tend to fear him and try to avoid him or even kill him. Note, Cain never did repent of his sin, murdering his own brother. There was just remorse and anguish over his punishment. Oh God, this is more than I could bear. How much do we see that in today's world? People who are vicious then are punished, and they said, this is more than I deserve. So where did all these extra people come from that Cain potentially feared? In Genesis 5, verse 4, it says, Adam begat sons and daughters. Folks, brother and sister marriages were quite necessary and appropriate, as no law had been passed prohibiting this practice until after the flood of Noah. Since people lived and could produce children for hundreds of years, the population would multiply very quickly. But what is God's answer to what Cain said? Therefore, whoever slays Cain shall be avenged 7 times. And the Lord set a mark upon Cain so that anyone who found him should not kill him. This mark or sign is not described. Maybe we could describe it as the first tattoo. But there's no doubt that in some way God set Cain apart to protect him from being slain. Did Cain deserve that? Absolutely not. This was God's